try and move you up here when we're lighting the candles. Thank you. It's fantastic to see so many familiar faces and a number of new ones as well here to celebrate the 5th annual Hanukkah on the Hill. And I especially want to thank my co-sponsor of this event, Anthony Housefather, the MP from Mount Royal. This is a really special time every year. It's a little early this year. Those of you that know Hanukkah actually is starting on the night of December 22nd. So we're gathering to do an early preemptive celebration. But thank you so much for being here. It means a lot to the Jewish community and to Jews across the country to see all of us gathering here on Parliament Hill, celebrating this festival and joining together, celebrating the Canadian Jewish heritage. For over 2,000 years, we've celebrated the Hanukkah story, the victory of tolerance over intolerance, of freedom over persecution and adversity. And this year, especially when we look in Canada, we see lots of positives. We've had wonderful displays during May, Canadian Jewish Heritage Month. We've had wonderful things to celebrate, but we also know it's been a time of adversity as anti-Semitism continues to rear its ugly head across the country. And I just want to make mention that in the last number of weeks, we've had situations on campuses across this country that have caused the Jewish community and many Canadians to take pause and just reflect and to stand together as we deal with anti-Semitism and racism in all of its kinds. And again, I just want to say that on Parliament Hill, across party lines, we stand together in that fight. We come together every year, and you'll see we've got 2 Chanukiahs this year, one where community members will light, one where MPs and leaders of the party will light, and it's an incredibly poignant and meaningful act. It's an act which reflects on such a proud Jewish history, and really I'm just thrilled to be able to share it with you all, joining again MPs from across the political spectrum and so many community members that have traveled from near and far. I know we've got people from Toronto, Montreal, and other places that have joined us here today. So without further delay, let me introduce my co-host for this event, Anthony Housefather.
Merci beaucoup, Michael. Ça, c'est la 5e année de suite où nous avons fait cet événement sur la colline. C'était un grand plaisir d'accueillir tous et toutes. Dans les années précédentes, on n'avait plus de personnes encore, mais à cause de l'élection, cette année, c'est un peu plus tranquille. Mais je vous promets que l'année prochaine sera encore plus grand. Et en effet, c'est un grand plaisir, comme Michael a dit, d'accueillir les gens de tous les partis politiques sur la colline. You know, at Hanukkah, we often think of the Adam Sandler Hanukkah song, where we have to identify all those famous people that are Jewish, because sometimes when we're Jewish at the holidays, we sort of feel that we're overshadowed by Christmas. But it's wonderful to see so many of our Catholic, our Protestant, our Anglican, our Muslim, someone who has been a champion against anti-Semitism, someone who has fought against BDS on college campuses, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir à tous. Je suis très heureux d'être ici ce soir pour célébrer Hanukkah avec vous. Je veux d'abord remercier Michael et Anthony qui, chaque année, font de cette soirée un événement à ne pas manquer. I also want to thank you all for being here tonight. Community is at the heart of what makes Hanukkah so special, and I'm glad to see so many friends and colleagues from across the political sphere gather here tonight. The Festival of Lights commemorates the miracle at the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. The triumph of light over darkness, of freedom over adversity. Over the coming days, Jewish Canadians will light the Hanukkah, spin dreidels, and of course, eat latkes with friends and family. But Hanukkah is also a time to reflect, a time to recognize not only the blessings in our lives and the adversity we've overcome, but also the challenges facing the community today. Acts of anti-Semitism are sadly not simply a thing of the past. They still happen here in Canada, here in our communities. In the past few weeks, Jewish students were targeted on their university campuses at York, U of T, and McGill. They were made to feel uncomfortable because of their identity, because of their support of Israel. Calling into question Israel's right to exist or the right of the Jewish people to self-determination is promoting anti-Semitism, and that's unacceptable. We will never, ever be silent in the face of such acts. Hatred has no place in Canada, and we will continue to condemn it. Before coming here tonight, I had the chance to meet with leaders of Canada's Jewish community. They voiced their concerns regarding a vote Canada has recently taken at the UN, concerns many of you have echoed over the past few weeks and that our caucus members have shared with me. I hear you. I understand that many of you were alarmed by this decision. The government felt that it was important to reiterate its commitment to a two states for two peoples solution at a time when its prospects appear increasingly under threat. But let me be very clear. Our enduring friendship with Israel remains. We will continue to stand strongly against the singling out of Israel at the UN. Canada remains a steadfast supporter of Israel, and Canada will always defend Israel's right to live in security. And we will always, always speak up against anti-Semitism at home and abroad. You have my word. Je suis toujours heureux de me joindre à la communauté juive en temps de fête, comme c'est le cas ce soir. Mais je veux que vous sachiez que je suis à vos côtés, peu importe les circonstances. D'une génération à l'autre, la communauté juive a contribué à faire du Canada le pays ouvert, accueillant et généreux que nous connaissons aujourd'hui. Dans l'esprit d'Hanukkah, je tiens à vous remercier pour tout ce que vous faites pour vos communautés et pour notre pays. Canada's strong unity is a blessing for which we all ought to be thankful. Once again, thank you for inviting me to celebrate with you. Happy Hanukkah. Chag Hanukkah Sameach.
It's now my pleasure to call up and introduce the Leader of the Opposition, Andrew Scheer.
Thank you very much, everyone. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. And thank you very much, Anthony and Michael, for once again hosting this wonderful event. As we light the menorah this evening, I would like to begin by wishing all Jewish Canadians a happy Hanukkah. As every year, this holiday is a wonderful time that brings families and communities together. A time of food and gifts, of laughter and celebration. We must not forget, however, that as we commemorate the historic triumph of the Jewish people over their oppressors, for many, this story hits far too close to home as anti-Semitism continues to rise, both around the world and unfortunately here in Canada. Now, if history has proven one thing, it is the resilience of the Jewish people. Anti-Semitism has taken many forms over the years, from blatant attempts of genocide throughout history to more subtle forms that today have crept onto our university campuses and brought fear to Jewish Canadian students. Yet here we are again, and here you are again, publicly, openly celebrating your culture, your faith, and your traditions. And on behalf of the Conservative Party, I want to convey our solidarity and our commitment to standing with our Jewish friends and neighbors. So in lighting the menorah tonight, may the story of Hanukkah remind us that light conquers darkness, that faith overcomes fear, and that, like the lights of the menorah, hope can never die. Happy Hanukkah, Chag Sameach.
C'est un grand plaisir pour moi maintenant d'inviter pour la première fois un représentant du Bloc québécois, mon bon ami Réal Fortin, le critique de justice de la Bloc québécois. Réal? Il est ici. OK.
Il est encore là, il est encore loin. Ben, je suis vraiment content d'être avec vous aujourd'hui. I'm very happy, very proud to be here tonight. The only concern I have is about the fact that you just learned that you've been doing it for 5 years. And it's only the first time I'm here. So, Anthony, yeah.
Nous avons invité le chef chaque année. Mais ça, c'est la première fois que nous avons quelqu'un qui est venu et ça, c'est apprécié énormément.
Sorry, but I was the leader of my party for a year and a half between 2015 and 2017. Okay, Anthony, you owe me a glass of wine. Écoutez, je suis vraiment content d'être ici. Je me suis informé un peu. Je sais que la fête d'Hanukkah, c'est la fête de la lumière, mais on me dit surtout, mes amis me disent que c'est la fête de la famille. C'est une très ancienne fête juive, mais à laquelle sont conviés les gens, semble-t-il, des plus près de nous, donc la famille, les proches amis, ce qui me rendait d'autant plus fier et heureux d'avoir été invité à être avec vous ce soir. Écoutez, au Bloc québécois, on est également très sensible à la question de la communauté juive. On croit, mais là je répète ce que nos collègues, M. Trudeau, M. Scheer ont dit avant moi, mais on est sensible à la question juive. On croit que effectivement la communauté juive a droit. On croit à la solution de 2 États souverains et sur des territoires qui leur appartiennent. Et on va se battre pour ça, pour qu'il n'y ait pas que les droits de la communauté juive ne soient jamais occultés par quelque motif ou quelle organisation que ce soit. Donc, vous pouvez compter sur nous. On a d'ailleurs d'anciens membres du Bloc québécois, d'éminents membres qui travaillent de près avec la communauté juive. On a ici à Ottawa mon bon ami Richard Marceau, que vous connaissez probablement bien. Oui. Salut Richard, tu me dois 20$, j'ai dit ton nom. Alors, on n'hésitez jamais à venir nous rencontrer. On sera toujours heureux de travailler avec vous et au mieux-être de la communauté juive. Alors, merci. Happy Hanukkah. Au plaisir de vous revoir l'an prochain et peut-être avant. Hein? Merci. Au revoir. Bonsoir.
Okay. With more parties, we've got more people coming up to talk. So it's now my great pleasure to introduce representing the NDP and leader Jagmeet Singh, who wasn't able to attend this evening, Heather McPherson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you, Prime Minister, Senators, Members of Parliament, members of the Jewish community, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be with you to share in the tradition of lighting the menorah and to bring Hanukkah greetings on behalf of our leader Jagmeet Singh and the NDP caucus to the Jewish communities all over Canada who will be celebrating the 8 days of Hanukkah this month. It's great to see all of you here, and I'd like to also thank Anthony and Michael for bringing us all together. This important tradition honors the historic resilience of the Jewish people, who fought for many years against tyranny and oppression. As we know, Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, celebrates a miracle where a flame that was only meant to burn for 1 night burned strong for 8 nights. The Hanukkah miracle is a reminder to all of us that when we encounter darkness and despair, we need to create light and hope. In a world increasingly polarized with political leaders, both regionally and nationally, increasingly normalizing and implicitly supporting hatred, racism, and division, let us take this moment to recommit to working together to put an end to anti-Semitism, hatred, and intolerance wherever we find it. During this period, let us remember that Hanukkah is a time to reaffirm that faith, community, and understanding are powerful tools against injustice and suffering. All Canadians can appreciate a midwinter festival that is about lights in the darkest days. I'm from Edmonton, so you can imagine. We're very close to the darkest day of the year. We can also relate to a holiday that celebrates the end of oppression and the establishment of the right to religious freedom. So tonight, let us light the menorah and celebrate tradition and community and the miracle of the light. On behalf of all New Democrats, I wish a very happy Hanukkah to all who celebrate. May this Hanukkah be brilliant and peaceful for all. Hag Hanukkah Sameach.
And before I forget, I want to thank our colleague Rachel Vendayen, who was the one, along with people from her riding of Outremont, that brought us our soufganiyot, which are the donuts in the back of the room. And I was asked to make sure they're from Cheskis. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And now it gives me great pleasure, representing the Green Party, to invite Mr. Paul Manley up here. Paul?
Well, it's a real honor and privilege to be here to celebrate with you. I'd like to acknowledge we're gathered today on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. It's an honor to represent the Green Party in the lighting of the menorah on Hanukkah, the Jewish Festival of Lights. One tin lamp in a temple in Jerusalem nearly 2,200 years ago that should have lasted one night miraculously lasted 8 days and 8 nights. In memory of the miracle of that tin lamp during Hanukkah, Jewish people eat fried potato pancakes called latkes and jelly-filled donuts whose Hebrew name I've been advised not to try to pronounce.
Soufganiyot.
Saniyat?
Soufganiyot.
Soufganiyat. There you go. That's one.
There you go.
All right. So fried foods are important in this part of the holiday, and I'm surprised that the donut shops at Tim Hortons isn't all over this. With Hanukkah, celebrating Hanukkah. The story of Hanukkah is a story of freedom and lessons against religious oppression. It teaches us that then, like today, it is often a small number of committed individuals who have to fight against great odds in order to guarantee a secure future. Sometimes such a small group can just be a small caucus of 3. As a solemn reminder of the horrors of anti-Semitism through the ages, it is Jewish custom to put the lit menorah on the windowsill to signal to any Jews on the road that this house is a safe house for Jews. The menorah here on Parliament Hill signals to Jews and to all religious minorities that Canada is a safe country for all. Due to the parliamentary sitting calendar, we're lighting the menorah nearly two weeks early. It should be December 22nd, and that's a day following the solstice and a few days before Christmas. But it's great to take part in this ceremony, for all of us to these 3 events that celebrate light, God's light, the light that's coming as we go through the darkest days of winter. With that optimism at heart, I'm happy to take part in this ceremony and to wish all Jewish Canadians a very warm and happy Hanukkah, and I hope you're all surrounded with loving families and communities now and always. Thank you.
You want to just announce what we're doing?
Yeah, so we're going to light the shamash first of all, which is the candle that's sitting at the back that will then be used to light the others. As Paul just mentioned, and I will point out, Hanukkah doesn't actually start until the evening of December 22nd, so we are symbolically lighting all the candles so that all of our candle lighters can light. We will not be saying the prayer. In case you're wondering why are we not saying the prayer, some years we do, some years we don't. We say it when it's actually Hanukkah, we don't when it's not. So we're lighting them symbolically, and we shall now continue.
We're just going to use the shamashes until we invite everybody to light the candles. So, Mike, do you want to lead the way?
I'm
not able to strike a match and actually get lit. I never. Oh, that would be easier. I know my weaknesses. So as Michael mentioned, this is symbolic. We're not doing the blessings because it's not actually the holiday. But we're still going to light the candles. And on the political menorah, it gives me great pleasure to invite the Prime Minister to light the first candle on the political menorah. And on the community menorah, I would like to invite CIJA board member Rafi Brass and CIJA Quebec co-chair Brenda Gewurz. Okay. All right. Good. Congratulations. Yes.
I used to go to the left, but okay.
And it's now my pleasure to call up on the political Menorah, Hanukkah, Andrew Scheer, Leader of the Opposition, and representing B'nai B'rith Canada, Director of Government Relations, Brian Herman.
Pour le troisième bougie, j'aimerais inviter notre collègue bleu québécois Réal Fortin. And for the community candle, representing the Jewish Federation of Ottawa, the Federation CJA Ottawa Board Chair, Michael Pallowan.
And now representing on the political candle, representing the NDP, MP Heather McPherson. Come on up, Heather. And representing the community candle from the Montreal Board of Rabbis, Montreal President of the Board of Rabbis, Rabbi Rachel Feingold.
For the fifth candle, I'd like to invite from the Green Party, Mr. Paul Manley, to the political candle. And from the youth, from the Ripple Effect, which is a subsidiary of Chabad Ottawa, a teen-led organization that connects youth with children struggling with serious illnesses, in families affected by a physical or mental illness, in families affected by any disability or who have suffered a loss. So they're doing great work for the local community. Bassi Mendelson, Sabrina Smith, Justin Poplov, Tamima Silver, and Leora Kirshner.
On the political candle, I'm going to call up, they're already up here, the Jewish members of Parliament, Minister Karina Gould, MP Julie DeBruzen, MP Rachel Ben-Dayan, MP Marty Morantz, and of course Anthony and myself, and representing CJPAC, the CJPAC National Chair Joseph Paperman, CJPAC Director for Quebec and Atlantic Canada Vanessa Fima, and CJPAC Deputy Executive Director Rachel Chertkoff.
Of course, Hanukkah wouldn't be the same without representation of the Consular Corps, and I want to thank all of the different members of the Consular Corps who are here today. We have a number of ambassadors, and thank you so much for coming, representatives of our allies. And in terms of candle number 7, it gives me great pleasure to invite to the political candle the Israeli Embassy's Deputy Head of Mission, Ohad Kanar, and the Embassy's Head of Consular and Administration, Orly Ehrlich. From the other field, from the community candle, ça me donne grand plaisir d'inviter Monsieur David Bensoussan, l'ancien président de la communauté séfarade unifiée du Québec.
Hanukkah Sameach.
Candle number 8, the final candle. When I say last, but certainly not least, it is such an honor to call up a man that is a mentor, a friend, and whose work on human rights and whose work as a parliamentarian still echoes through these halls, usually because he's still walking around these halls frequently, and that is the Honourable Irwin Cotler, lighting the political candle. And representing candle number 8 for the community, JNF representatives, JNF National Fund Negev Dinner honorees, Sharon and David Apotif. So, again, I just want to thank you all for being here, Mr. Prime Minister, to all the leaders of the parties, to everybody that's come, our colleagues in the House of Commons from across party lines, so many community members that have traveled. Once again, so special to be able to symbolically share this festival with you. I can't see if at the very back of the room there's still the sufganiyot, the donuts on the go, but if they are, please get back there and eat them. They are absolutely delicious. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for taking the time to join us. It means a lot to us. Thank you.